Wait, what? What am I looking at? What is that?
Charlie, that's not Earth, right?
Dude, that's completely flat. That's 100% flat,
I know, that's
dude.
what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That can't be real, right? That's not.
We're looking at it, dude. The Earth is flat. The Earth. The Earth is flat.
Charlie, the Earth can't actually be flat, right?
There's the glass dome, dude. Oh my God, dude.
Oh my. This can't be real.
I need to sit down.
This can't.
Pam, we need to take this to the grave. We cannot tell anybody. This changes literally This changes everything.
No, I know. We can never tell. We can never tell.
I might actually puke. Get back a little. I'm gonna puke. Stay back.
Oh my.
I'm gonna throw up.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw up.
The Earth is flat, Charlie.
I know.
Psalms 58 verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, man. So the scriptures is telling you right here, like, there's certain people, man, as soon as they touch down, they could do nothing but lie to you. I mean, lie on top of lie on top of lie. You know, from the womb, they coming out like that. And like the title says, I don't believe in NASA, man. I believe in what the scripture says, man. You know, now a lot of people are going to say, oh, you don't believe in the science? Yeah, I don't say I don't believe in science. I just don't believe in what they're doing. You know, I believe this is we're in an enclosed circuit, and you can't get out of here. You know, and you know, these are the same people that they're gonna call you low IQ. You know, this is what they love to say. You know, because you don't believe in what they want you to believe in, man. And we know what the scripture says: the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. You know, and a lot of these guys that went up there, they are Masons. You know, I mean, Yeshua HaMashiach says, look, take heed that no man deceive you by any means. I mean, they go into the Blue Lodge, lying to them. So right there, from the beginning, they're going into deception. But a lot of you guys have pleasure in deceit, man. You know, and if you watch my videos, you already know why they're being led astray, and they're falling for this. You know, what the founder of rocket propulsion, Jack Parsons, all these guys have bowed down. You know, he was a student of Aleister Crowley. You know, and you guys put your trust in them. The scripture says, if they speak not according to this word, man, there's no light in them. Oh, man, let's take a look at something. So right here, the Illuminati, origin 1776, founded by Adam Weishaupt. So let's jump down to the part that I highlighted in red. So what was pretty much the whole point of this? To reduce the church's power and promote science, pretty much the word of the Most High. So you're going to put science over the word of the Most High and what the scripture says about the biblical cosmology, you know, and it's worked. It's working, man. You know, people are eating this stuff up, man. You know, and they're going to say, oh, you're a low IQ. And, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to vote because you don't believe in space. And, oh, my God, look at all the evidence and the aliens and the asteroids are going to come and destroy the Earth one day. And, and the UFOs and thermodynamics. This is, you know, oh, man. These guys are out of control, man. And I can see why the Most High, you know, he's so picky on dealing with certain people, man. And then when you ask these people about the Bible, they're going to say, oh, that's a fairy tale. But it's crazy because that's what the scripture says about them, you know, and the things that they believe in. Let's bring that up. Romans chapter 1, verse 21 and 22, it says, because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. So this is what the scripture says. They say, you know, the Bible is a fairy tale. God doesn't exist. But the scripture says, you know, their foolish heart is darkened, man. With their vain imaginations of the space and the asteroids and And the asteroid is coming to destroy the Earth one day, and the UFOs and the aliens. It's as real as Star Wars, man. Man, you know what? You know what else they say? Why would they lie? But why would they lie? Look at all this evidence. How can they lie? The scripture says they're gonna lie. Let's bring that up. Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which are the fallen angels, which deceiveth the whole world. You see that? Mass level deception that's talking about. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him, man. So this is talking about, it says, deceiveth the whole world. So the entire world is going to be under some form of deception, man. Deceiveth the whole world. But why would they lie? How? Why? Why would they lie about that? Because like I said in the beginning, the entire goal was to put science over the word of the Most High. Because a lot of these people are going against the Most High. Them launching these things up into space is nothing but a modern day form of the Tower of Babel. They just doing it with rocket ships now. Oh man, like I said, all these guys, like, you just look them up, like the Jack Parsons. All these guys was, in secret societies. Oh man, let's take a look at some of these astronauts, man. That y'all hold in high esteem, man. So these are the ones that they sent. They so-called sent up there. Now at least 3 of them, I looked into them. From the black guy, going right, from the black guy to the captain and to the woman. They're all part of a Greek fraternity or sorority. So we know that they have bowed down to who? Not to the Most High. To these Greek and Roman gods. Is the Most High with that? No, he's not. And like I said, just because these guys look, I'm sure they're smart. I'm sure they're intelligent. Of course, but that don't mean they're in favor with the Most High. Solomon, the wisest man on earth. Solomon was the wisest man on earth. He still fell to these beings. He bowed down to them too, and they've all done it. And what do they name all their rockets after? Hold up. They named them all after Greek gods, goddesses, who they have bowed down to in these sororities and fraternities. That's who they pledge their oath to. So, you see, you guys talking about, the first black guy to go up there. Well, the scripture says, whatever's highly esteemed among men is an abomination in his eyes, man. So this is not glorifying the Most High. You can see. With all these Greek, you can look it up. Every single mission, they name it after a Roman or a Greek god or goddess or something like that. So, and you really think they're not going to deceive you. And who would these Greek gods be? It'll be nothing but the fallen angels under a different name. Like the scripture says, that serpent was cast out, and his angels with him, and they deceived the entire world. But why would they lie? You don't know I kill. Okay. You shouldn't be allowed to vote. The aliens and Chewbacca and the asteroids are coming to destroy the Earth one day. Yeah, you keep waiting on that. Oh man, I'm gonna believe what the scripture says, man. Just because they have high intelligence, look, that don't mean nothing to the Most High, man. You see, they outside of this word, and they bow down. They bow down, and many of them, like the Buzz Aldrins, and before that, they were all Masons. that great deception, man. And a lot of people is not going to be able to see it. But anyway, man, it's a short little lesson. All praise to the Most High.